city, but I just want to get one of these. Yeah. The story, so I, I might as well see it. Greg.
Good evening and welcome to the March 14th, 2011, 7 o'clock City Council meeting. We'll call the meeting to order and a roll call, please.
Council members Aguilar.
Here.
Anderson.
Here.
Brown.
Here.
Entenmann.
Here.
Erpenbach.
Here.
Jameson.
Here.
Rolfing.
Here.
All council members are present and accounted for. We'll move on to our invocation with Reverend Ramita Alexander from All Souls Church. Ramita has asked us to remain seated until she comes to the actual prayer, and then at that point she'll instruct us to stand up. Ramita?
Well, I come to you bringing a short story, a longer comment, and a brief prayer. Some 700 or so years ago, an Italian craftsman was walking along the harbor near his home, and he found there some old, broken, waterlogged oars. They were all just piled and stacked up as though they were waste. And he took some of them to his studio, and he crafted some musical instruments from them. They were pretty good, too, considering that they were made from scrap wood. His name was Antonio Stradivari, and through the work of his hands, the trees, the sea sang together, and they are still singing through those instruments down to this day. This skill of gathering up what is at hand, whatever it may be, to fashion something useful or beautiful, has a French name. It is called bricolage. It is akin to what the old pioneers in our own part of the country used to call making do. Well, I think that making do might be a good way to describe the entire human condition. We are born into a world and a social system already established. We are born into families with stern opinions already formed. We begin our lives in the midst of ongoing events, and we begin to think and create with the ideas and materials that are right here, right now. And some of them don't look much better than those waterlogged logs. Well, each of you brings to this open space here, this public space, the remnants of your beginning, plus all that you have managed to create of yourselves from your own work of bricolage or making do. Now, you have already discovered, and I am not the first to have observed this, that you are all very different. No. You are not going to see things the same way. You will disagree among yourselves. Well, how lovely. The one who disputes the way with you is your teacher. He or she reminds you of what you have overlooked. And together, you have a clearer understanding of what is here to do. So the next time that you find yourself in disputation, please pause and say to your adversary, to your teacher, I am angry. You must have something that I need to learn. So speak quietly. I will listen. And then listen. And so your wisdom may increase, and so your vision may open, and maybe your heart. Would it not be a fine thing to be able to see the world as Stradivari saw the broken oars, full of possibilities, full of promise, portending great beauty and harmony? In this way, may you learn to see Sioux Falls, your field of work and play. Like the situation to which you were born, Sioux Falls was a going concern when you came to this space. Can you see it with a craftsman's eye, an artist's eye, a lover's eye? See all the ways to take what is here and lift it up, make it more useful, more beautiful through the work of your hands. In this spirit we gather. We may come from many religious traditions, Christian, Buddhist, Jew, Muslim, or unaffiliated. We all gather here. So join me in prayer. Gather your hearts and breathe. Breathe in peace and breathe out love. Holy One of many names, the leaders of our city come to you with a great work in their hands. Grant them courage to face opposition, patience in setbacks and defeat, humility in the crown of success, compassion in the center of suffering. Grant them joy in this work, love to sustain them, and the wisdom to know they are happy and loved. We ask this in the name of peace and all the prophets who have come as your messengers to teach it to us. Amen. Blessed be.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, next we'll move on to a proclamation. We have Sioux Empire Water Festival Days, March 22nd and March 23rd, 2011. We have Deb Callahan here, and I'll come forward and read a proclamation for her. You know right where to stand, don't you? Is this on? Yeah. You're not related to an Inspector Callahan, are you? No, you can still make Dirty Harry? Okay, very good. We'll make your day. Okay. Whereas the Big Sioux Aquifer underlines approximately 1,000 square miles and together with the Big Sioux River provides water to communities in southeastern South Dakota. Whereas providing 2,627 fourth grade children from 128 classes in 55 southeastern South Dakota schools with information about the protection and preservation of water, our most valuable natural resource, will help children make educated decisions concerning water in the future. Whereas this education is accomplished with the help of 1,000 plus volunteers from federal, state, county, and city governments and private businesses. Whereas this is the 18th annual event. Whereas the Sioux Falls City Council recognizes the long-term benefits of this type of education and supports such education efforts. Now, therefore, Mike Huther, Mayor of the City of Sioux Falls, does hereby proclaim March 22nd and 23rd, 2011 as Sioux Empire Water Festival Days in Sioux Falls and the Sioux Empire. Congratulations. All right, we'll move on to the consent agenda, and I need a motion to approve.
So move, Anderson.
Second, Entenmann.
We have a motion by Councilor Anderson, second by Councilor Entenmann. Roll call vote, please.
Council members Aguilar,
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Entenmann.
Yes.
Erpenbach.
Yes.
Jamison.
Yes,
Rolfing.
Yes.
that is passed 7-0. We no longer have 8, so it's 7, right? Okay, now we need to go on and approve the regular agenda.
So moved, Brown.
Second, Anderson.
We have a motion by Brown and seconded by Anderson to approve the regular agenda. Any other comments or questions about the regular agenda? Seeing none, a roll call vote, please.
Council members Aguilar,
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Entenmann.
Yes.
Erpenbach.
Yes.
Jamison.
Yes.
Rolfing.
Yes.
The regular agenda is a pass, 7-0. Thank you. We'll move on to our next item, public input. This is the time for anybody in the audience to come and address the council for 5 minutes. We just ask that you introduce yourself to the council. Seeing nobody coming forward, we'll move on then to our first item of the night. We'll go to unfinished business.
Item number 9 is deferred action from the meeting of February 22nd, 2011. Request received from Doug Hendricks dated February 1st, 2011 regarding the placement of a retail liquor license from the official city list pursuant to City Ordinance Section 51214, requesting to extend the deadline for the conditional use permit application based on pending litigation.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Councilor.
I need to excuse myself from the discussion and vote on this issue.
Very good. Councilor Intimate is excused. Very good, Lori.
Okay, Lori Huckstead with the City Attorney's Office. This license came as the result of one of the retail liquor licenses that did not renew for 2011, and that was from the Timber Lodge. As a result, the city received that license back, and when we receive a license back, which is the first time it has happened, but we do have a procedure in place for issuing retail liquor licenses, and that procedure is to use our official list. And the next step would be to offer the license to the first person on the official list, and the license was offered to Doug Hendricks. Doug's decision at that time was either to accept the license or not accept it and either be moved to the end of the list or taken off the list. He chose to accept the license and at this time has asked for an extension on the 45-day time period required to make application for a conditional use permit. I'll keep my comments brief, but I can certainly answer questions if you have any. And Doug Hendricks is here tonight as well to answer questions.
Any questions for Lori? I think we're good, Lori.
Okay.
Is there anybody else that would like to address the council on this item?
Hi, Doug Hendricks, Sioux Falls. This was deferred for 2 weeks, and I'd like to address Mr. Rolfing's. You had asked me a question, and I think my answer came across wrong. That it was specifically just based on video lottery, where I'd chosen to ask for that extension based on what I thought was precedent. But my initial reason was not just for video lottery. It was just the precedent that had been offered somebody else for a date in the future. So, and we all know the rules, and they are what they are. And So that simply wasn't the motivation. I was just trying to file or use something as a reference. So I have another idea that I'd like to present or propose. Especially just with this particular license, I guess, is that license renewals are all due. The application for renewal is every year is like November 1st, and that anything issued prior to that, a license issued prior to that, you have to pay the $1,500 plus. I think there's some publishing fees, or somewhere between $1,500 and $2,000 for the renewal. So a license granted, and it's not prorated. If you were granted a license in October, you had to pay the $1,500, and then on November 1st you renew and you pay it again. It's not prorated. So I mean that's just an idea that to give me some time with this particular license, since this has never happened before, wasn't expecting it, and then of course at the time also there was no census, had no idea, and I knew I'd be first on the list, but there again, in the history of Sioux Falls, I don't think this has ever happened, and does that make sense to anybody, or not?
Councilor Rolfing, are you okay with that answer, or you need more?
I guess I don't understand what he's talking about. October, he wants to wait until October? Or?
Well, no, it would be, and something may change between now and then, but you wouldn't get the double licensing, where you pay. It would be for
2012?
That's when all of them are. Yeah, I mean, it's done in advance, but that's when the application fee is due, is like
not
1st of November.
Doug?
But, yeah.
Doug, would you mind having maybe Lori
Oh, sure.
interpret maybe?
Okay, I'm sorry.
Could you help us, Lori?
Well, I think what he's trying to say is November 1 is when renewals would be due, approximately November 1st for the year 2012.
Right.
And I think if I'm understanding him right, he's saying he would pay now and then pay again to renew. Well, you end up doing that anyway, regardless of when you apply. And even if he applied now, he could have the license effective January 1, 2012, if he didn't think he would be ready to operate before then. That's always an option. But he's correct that the license fees are not prorated. So if whatever time of the year you come in, it's the same fee.
Sure.
And then, it has to be renewed each year. So I think what he's asking is a date of November 1st.
Yeah, I was just
Okay.
finding a date that wasn't tied to the previous request.
Yeah, but aren't we talking about an extension of 45 days is what you're...
No,
or-
the actual, right now, if there was no extension granted, he would have 45 days to make application for a conditional use permit and 90 days to complete that. The extension that he has requested does not have a specific time frame on the extension.
So we've got, if we did it by the rules right now, we got 4.5 months to get into business, is what it amounts to. No,
least
we
it-
got 45 days to apply, and then 90 days to get into business. Isn't that what you just said?
Not quite. 45 to apply for a conditional use permit to allow alcohol sales, 90 days to finish the conditional use process.
Oh.
He wouldn't have to start business that soon. If he was the lessee or owner of a property, he could actually hold the license for almost 2 years without opening.
So,
Yep, you have to find a location within 45 days. So within a month and a half.
Any other questions for Lori or for Doug? Seeing none, is
Yeah. Doug, so you've got 45 days to find a location and 2 years basically to get the thing up and operating.
I didn't realize it was 2 years.
Is that, Lori, about what it amounts to?
That's about what it amounts to. As long as they're the lessee or owner of the property and they've made application for the license, they can hold it inactive for 1 year and actually 10 months. But they have to be open within 60 days of that 2-year time period. So conceivably, just about 2 years.
So what happens if in 45 days they designate a location and then a better one happens 6 months from there? Can they change the location?
Then they would need to transfer.
Then they need
and
to
start
transfer.
the process over. But the intent at that time, if they did apply within that 45 days, would be to use that location. If something else became available after that time, they would have to come before you and request a transfer.
Now I'm understanding.
I know
Doug, do
there's
you
a
have a
lot
problem
to
with that?
this.
What's that?
Do you have a problem with that?
I'm ready.
With the location. I mean, identifying the location.
Doug, if you could speak into the mics for us.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Finding the location in 45 days. Now, I knew this would be coming up sometime this fall. So there again, that's why I threw out this number. I mean, that's historically always when it's been. And I have a realtor working on it, and we're researching whether to go with a franchise or whether to do something that we've done in the past. In the first case, I mean, it's a little bit harder to do with, finding the location that would, going through the franchise procedure and getting a location approved. So, it's not, Rex, it's not like I didn't plan on doing this, having from now until the fall. It's just, this is an unusual situation for this license to come up. I don't want to say no.
Well, I understand that, but what we're
And-
saying here too is that if you
it's a
don't like
disadvantage.
what you first choose, you can come back to this body and transfer the license to a new location if something better comes up.
True, but like in order to choose something and to apply for that, a seller or a landlord, I mean, you have to sign typically a binding agreement, and well, you know what that's.
Yeah, I know what that's like, but I
Yeah.
don't think I'm willing to go out to November or anything like that.
Oh, okay. Well, that was the date I was suggesting. That wasn't. I didn't want to tie up to any litigation. Okay. I mean, by doing that, I did that in the first place just because that was precedent. That's
And right now, you've had, since the first of the year, we've had January, February, part of March.
No, I didn't hear about it until.
Lori, can you tell us when he was notified?
Oh, I don't have that exact date. It wasn't right away in January. I don't have that date in front of me. It was probably late January.
And then you got the request on a letter dated February 1st?
Right, February 1st.
Any other questions? Councilor Anderson.
Now, Doug, you've dealt with several licenses over the years, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, and are you going to be a corporate officer in this license, or are you basically representing another person or entity for this license?
I'd be an officer. It'd be a.
This is going to be your license, or is it a group, or I guess that's what I would like to know.
At this point, I have no partners, and it would be a to-be-formed entity. Although I might use an already existing entity, but at this point, that one, I'm the sole stockholder in.
Thank you.
But at this point in my life, I'd kind of like to have some partners.
Any other? Councilor Brown?
No question. Ready for a motion?
Okay. Just one clarification, if I could, from Lori on the process here. If the application for extension is denied, he can go right to the back of the list? Or what does he need to do to go back?
No, if he is denied an extension, then he has 45 days from today to get his conditional use permit, 90 days to complete it.
That's right.
And if he doesn't meet that time frame, then he would go to the end of the list and it would be offered to the next person.
Okay, very good.
So he wouldn't be out. He would just have to move things along.
Okay. Councilor Brown?
Our motions need to be made in the affirmative, but I would like to speak to this afterwards, so I will move to approve.
Second, Erpenbach.
We have a motion by Councilor Brown and seconded by Councilor Erpenbach to approve.
May I
Any other
speak to the
discussion?
motion? I am not going to support this for the same reasons I spoke to it last time. We put these rules in place. Mr. Hendricks is a good businessman. He knows how the system works. We set these in place for a reason. Everyone knew the rules. We can't change the rules now.
Any other comments or roll call vote, please?
Councilmembers Aguilar,
No.
Anderson,
No.
Brown,
No.
Entman, Erpenbach,
No.
Jamison,
No.
Rolfing.
No.
That has failed 6-0. Item 10.
Item number 10 is a special one-day malt beverage license for the Siouxland Heritage Museums to be operated at the Old Courthouse Museum, 200 West 6th Street on March 17th, 2011 for the St. Patrick's Day Family Dance, and authorized publication of notice on March 4th, 2011 to set the hearing date.
Thank you. This is an annual event that the Old Courthouse Museum holds, and that will be on Thursday rather than Saturday, as many of the activities were, and it is a big fundraiser for the museum.
Councilor Aguilar?
Move approval, Aguilar.
Second.
We have a motion from Councilor Aguilar and seconded by Councilor Anderson. Is there anybody else from the audience who would like to address this item? Okay, seeing none. Yeah, any other comments or discussion by the council? Seeing none, a roll call vote, please.
Councilmembers Aguilar,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Entman,
Yes.
Erpenbach,
Yes.
Jamison,
Yes.
Rolfing.
Yes.
That is passed 7-0. Item 11.
Item 11 is a resolution authorizing an application for financial assistance, authorizing the execution and submittal of the application, and designating an authorized representative to certify and sign payment requests.
Good evening, City Council. Mark Cotter with the Office of Public Works. As we stated last week, today we would bring you the first step in procuring the next stage of funding to strengthen the wastewater system. This is to make application for this loan amount, $14,721,000. It does have a 10-year term, and right now estimated at 2.25%. We do expect, with some favorable bonding that the state's doing, we may get that down like we've done with some other recent bonds. Some of the key dates on here that we'd like to draw your attention to is, again, tonight is just to make application for and set up the signatory authorities. Have in the audience with us our Trent Lubers, he's our Utility Operations Administrator, as well as Dean Borkart, he is our Business Operations Manager. And those two gentlemen will make sure that this gets carried out. The two key dates are the third meeting in April, which is April 18th. That would be the first reading of the bond ordinance. And really the time that we authorize the revenue bond is May 9th. This would set us up to have funds available for August. Our goal would be, at a minimum, get the design of this project done this year and fully complete by the end of 2012. This slide shows you the picture of this project. It's a significant sewer project. It is in that same scope as the central main. Central main brings the new wastewater pipe from 11th Street down to that area that is right off. I'm going to point to the right-hand side there where the Tug Hill Lift Station. That is the Tug Hill Lift Station where the pointer is. And then this project would be in red. And there's several crossings that go across the river. And it would also provide a significant relief to that area around Pam Road, where that was one of our key discharge points. It would be new pipe. The pipe that's in here now was put in back in the 60s, and so we'll have a brand new pipe. It will be larger in size and glass-like in inside flow characteristics, so it'll be able to efficiently move a lot of wastewater. Just a snapshot of this type of pipe. A portion of this project that we may be able to negotiate that interest rate down is, instead of paying interest, the offset would be that we would get additional dollars to go upstream of the Big Sioux River to do non-point source work to clean up the river. And this is just, I think, a great classic project that takes a bank that's in the upper left-hand corner that's vertical and softens the bank and then puts riprap so it can contain the integrity of the banks. Again, this is just the first step, but we would certainly ask for your support.
Any questions for Mark?
Move to approve. Brown.
Second, Anderson.
We have a motion from Councilor Brown and seconded by Councilor Anderson. Is there any other comments from anybody in the audience on this topic? Okay, seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Aguilar?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Entenmann?
Yes.
Erpenbach? Yes. Jamison?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
That is passed 7-0. Item 12.
Item 12 is a resolution correcting the heading, body, and legal descriptions on resolution number 10310 for vacating the right-of-way of Ted Drive.
Good evening, Chad Heavey with the Engineering Division of Public Works. This portion of Ted Drive is on the south side of East 26th Street between Highway 11 and 6 Mile Road. During the November 11th, 2010 Joint City Council Minnehaha County Commission meeting, this right-of-way was vacated. Tonight's resolution will correct the heading, body, and legal description included in the original resolution.
Councilor Aguilar.
Move approval.
Second, Anderson.
We have a motion to approve by Councilor Aguilar, seconded by Councilor Anderson. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to address this item? Seeing none, any other discussion by the council? A roll call vote, please.
Councilmembers Aguilar?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Entenmann?
Yes.
Erpenbach?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
That is passed 7-0. Item 13.
Item 13 is a resolution authorizing the mayor to sign federal aid bridge replacement program resolution for the replacement of the West 12th Street Bridge over the Ellis and Eastern Railroad.
Annually, the federal government funds a highway bridge rehabilitation and replacement program. The goal of this program is to fund the replacement and rehabilitation of deficient bridges that are not on the state highway system or the state interstate system. The city's bridges are inspected every 2 years and assigned a sufficiency rating based on national bridge inspection standards. If a bridge's sufficiency rating is less than 80, it's eligible to be on this program for a rehabilitation project. If its rating is under 50, it's eligible to be on this program for a replacement. The sufficiency rating doesn't necessarily indicate a bridge's ability to carry a traffic load. It's there to indicate which bridges may need repair or replacement, not which bridges may collapse. The federal program funds 80% of these costs, and then the local entity funds the remaining 20%. Tonight's resolution will authorize the mayor to sign a resolution that will place this bridge on the replacement list, or on the rehabilitation list. Once its sufficiency rating gets below 50, it'll be then on it'll just convert into a replacement project instead of a rehabilitation. Because the funding levels are not adequate for the demand that's there in the state, the earliest this bridge will be eligible for funding is 2020. This 12th Street Bridge was constructed in 1965, and its sufficiency rating is 63.9. And this bridge will join two others that we currently have in this program.
Any questions for Chad? Councilor Rolfing.
What are the other two bridges, Chad?
It's the 49th Street Bridge over the Big Sioux River, just by Kiwanis, and I won't get into. There's several factors that go into this rating. That bridge, as you approach it, is on a curve, so that is why that rating is low. And then it's the 8th Street Bridge downtown, which is, if it's not 100 years old, it's 99. So those are the other two.
Move to approve, Brown.
Second, Entenmann.
We have a motion to approve by Councilor Brown, seconded by Councilor Entenmann. Anyone from the audience have any comments on this item? Any further discussion by the council? Seeing none, a roll call vote, please.
Councilmembers Aguilar?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Entenmann?
Yes.
Erpenbach?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
That is passed 7-0. Item 14.
Item 14 is a proposed resolution vacating the public right-of-way on North H Avenue from West Algonquin Street to south, as shown on the attached exhibit.
This section of H Avenue is improved and is south of the airport. A petition was submitted by Doug Birkland of Sayer Associates for Raven Industries and has been signed by all the adjacent landowners. Raven Industry wants to use the vacated right-of-way for future redevelopment. If vacated, a utility easement will not be maintained. Raven Industries has complied with our street vacation policy and will be here on April 11th to answer any of your questions, and we will be holding a neighborhood meeting for this vacation.
Item 14 and 15 are both items to be have a hearing date set, so just to be clear. Any questions, though, on item 14? Item 15?
Item 15 is a proposed resolution vacating the public right-of-way on North F Avenue from West Algonquin Street to West Blackhawk Street.
This section of F Avenue is an improved city street and is again south of the airport. It once again was submitted by Doug Birkland on behalf of Sayer Associates. Raven Industry plans to use this for future redevelopment. A utility easement will be maintained. Once again, they have complied with our street vacation policy and will be here on the 11th to answer any of your questions. We will hold these two meetings in conjunction with each other for H and F. This one, I don't have a recommendation for you tonight, but we do have a few concerns that F is one of the, there's only two roads that basically go from Algonquin down to Russell. And we're real interested in what the neighborhood thinks regarding this. So based on that, after the neighborhood meetings, I'll have more information for you on that. You will be invited to that meeting.
Any questions? Councilor Brown.
And you check with emergency personnel on all street vacations as well, correct?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Any other questions for item 14 or 15? I need a motion to set the hearing date for Monday, April 11th, 2007 at the 7 p.m.
So move, Anderson.
Second, Entenmann.
We have a motion by Councilor Anderson and seconded by Councilor Entenmann to set the hearing date for Monday, April 11th, 2011 at 7 p.m. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmembers Aguilar?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Entenmann?
Yes.
Erpenbach?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
That is passed 7-0. Any other items that we need to bring in front of the council?
Move to adjourn.
So, second.
We have a motion by Councilor Brown and seconded by Councilor Anderson to adjourn. All roll call vote, please.
Councilmembers Aguilar?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Entenmann?
Yes.
Erpenbach?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
We are adjourned.